Hey, welcome back. It's a throwback Thursday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming to you today live as we do every day from the Newsmax headquarters, high atop Midtown Manhattan, just downtown. The New York Stock Exchange is chugging along, and we are chugging along on a throwback Thursday. He's not really that much of a throwback, maybe as a player, but as a coach, he's still in the forefront. He's an NBC analyst. Coach Tony Dungy and his wife Lauren join us again on Liquid Lunch. Thanks for giving us some time to talk about all your efforts now with the kids. Coach, you and Lauren teamed up. You're the coaches in this book.
Yes.
Carson Chooses Forgiveness. It's another in a series of books that you guys have made to kind of talk to 6 to 9-year-old kids. Number one, encourage them to read. But do you think 6 to 9 is an age where you really need to start building some character in these kids?
Well, it probably even starts earlier than that, and we hope those 6 to 9-year-olds read these books, but then we also hope parents read them to their younger kids and get it across to everyone.
So the books talk about patience, and this one talks about sportsmanship and courage, like you've talked about in your last books. Are these characteristics that are starting to diminish in our society?
Absolutely. We're seeing that happen, and we need to be reminded and remind others of those important traits. And writing books on forgiveness and having courage and being a good friend, it's important. And as Tony said, important for all ages. The young ones will hear the stories as they're read to them. The older ones will read them, and then there'll be follow-up discussions with their parents or with their teachers or coaches on the importance of being a good friend or being a good player.
You know, my kids, my 2 daughters, Victoria and Ava, have been in competitive cheerleading for years. They train 7 days a week, almost 300 days a year.
Sure.
My boy plays sports. And more and more you see, like, terrible behavior from adults. The kids are playing the game. Is there something the adults can learn from these books?
We do hope that the adults will read to their kids and say, you know what, I need to think about that. I'm trying to impress that in my kids, but am I demonstrating that? Am I showing teamwork? Am I showing sportsmanship? Am I showing forgiveness and some of these traits? And you're right, we need it on all levels. Our country is pulling apart, and we can help fix that if we'll pull together.
Yeah, Lauren, you know, we talk about on this show, we're trying to be this middle ground where practical people can talk. I always refer to our audience as the purple people because not everyone is all red or blue. Most people have some of each, and then when the reds and the blues start to mix, you get this beautiful purple.
Absolutely.
And no one really talks to those people. It seems like practicality is out the window. In these books, to me, I know they're for 6 to 9-year-olds, but the simplicity of them actually gives lessons to adults, practical ideas.
Absolutely. It's a simple message, but it goes a long way. And we have to be intentional about being a person that can forgive or overlook some of the imperfections in other people. Otherwise, we'll be angry at the world. We'll be mad at everyone. So we have to decide. We have to make choices, good choices. Is it better to hold a grudge and show someone how angry you are by retaliating? Or is it better to forgive them and work together as a team? And that speaks volumes in all areas, not just on the floor when you're playing basketball, but working in the community with your fellow workers or in the classroom with other students. If we remember that it's not always important to be right or have the last word, but rather work together.
It seems like sometimes in this crazy divided political culture, there's a deterioration of faith, or at least support and advocacy for faith-based organizations. And, you know, everybody's talking about atheism and leaving kids alone, letting them choose what sex they may be. But faith, I see in a lot of your books, and we all know that, you know, the one thing that we know we have from the Lord is forgiveness. Yes. So this book has a lot of roots in faith, and that's
really
important
does.
too.
Right, Christian principles in all of our books. That's kind of the standard behind it. And you talked about the purple people being in the middle and right and left. The very first book we ever did was called You Can Be a Friend, and it was about teaching our daughter to be friends with someone who doesn't look like you or doesn't do exactly what you do. But that doesn't matter. We can reach out as people because that's what God talks about, being friends to everyone.
So, Lauren, I'm sorry. As a fledgling football coach, I have to ask a couple of football questions. My brothers will kill me. Preseason kicks off. You're an analyst for NBC. You're also on this book tour. Sometimes I think this might be just as important, if not more, than analyzing games. But around now, do you start missing it a tiny bit?
I really don't. I coached 28 years and loved every minute of it. I'm just in a different place right now, but I get enough football just being a fan now and watching and analyzing and trying to get ready for the season. So I'm excited for it to start, but I have no desire to go back.
Do you miss it at all?
No, I don't miss it. I love having it at home more. And we can be a family together.
So yesterday you guys were on this whirlwind tour promoting the book, and we weren't sure if you were going to make it, but you did make it for yesterday's show. I want to talk about it a little deeper today, but one of the guys suggested if you didn't get here, maybe we should see if John Gruden could come down and replace you.
He's done that before.
That's right. And many have said he took your team to the Super Bowl. But he was also you were a mentor.
Well, John did a fantastic job. We were proud of the Buccaneers, and they got there and did it, and then a couple of years later we had a chance to do it in Indianapolis. So
and you got that you got that Super Bowl ring that you very well deserved. Some members of our staff here, Michael Levy and Jason Levy, their uncle was is a friend of yours, and you were his coach.
Their uncle Dave Moore played tight end for us, was outstanding player, and you talk about a great teammate. He was a special teammate. He had a lot to do with that Super Bowl team, just setting the standard for how guys were going to be. And I'm tremendously proud of that group. Dave is still there in Tampa doing great things in the community, as many of his teammates are. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, winning Super Bowls is great, but being part of that community and building up the city, I'm even more proud of the guys for that.
Do you think, some inner cities you see where the kids don't necessarily always have a perfect family unit? You think football and team sports is really important to giving kids something to hold on to and know that they're part of something? Absolutely.
When you come together as a team, whether you're playing football, baseball, soccer, all kids are equal. You can have kids from all walks of life, but once they enter the field, they're all alike, and they put on a uniform and play the game. And that equalizes, neutralizes everything. So great opportunity to bring kids together and learn a lot of good lessons too while they're playing and learning the sport.
There's two things I love about team sports. Number one, you do bring a lot of different people together for one goal, and they realize they can work together. And then number two, you get to understand you don't win every game. And so you are going to have disappointments and things that don't go right. How do you react to that and come back and bounce back and still try to move forward?
In my coaching, Pee Wee and high school, lower level, I felt like sometimes kids get even a better lesson out of a loss. When they think they're going to kick butt on the other team, and they think they're going to roll their helmets out there, and then you're on the bus going home, you lost by 10. There's almost character building in losing.
Yes.
Because you got a team around you, and then you tighten everything up. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. And, anything you guys are doing in the book series, anything we can do to promote it, any events you're having, please let us know anytime, and we'll be happy to promote it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been awesome being with you.
Thank you for being here. Coach Tony Dungy, his wife Lauren, the real MVP of the Dungy family, all 11 of them. And you're watching Liquid Lunch, where we bring you the best guests, not talking heads that you see on all these other channels, but the people who know where the rubber meets the road. And today, we just happen to have a Super Bowl winning coach and two amazing children's authors. You're watching Liquid Lunch. We'll be back right after this.